Good morning, everyone. Good Friday to you. And today we continue with our conversation on how to deal with difficult conversations. The topic I want to bring to you today is about how sometimes we complicate things that we might already have the resources to deal with the difficult conversation or the conflict, but we get so much into our mind that we are not able to put into practice what we already know. And what we already know so far up to we started this conversation about a few weeks ago, that in order to deal with difficult conversations, the first thing you need to have in mind is, what do I want to achieve in this conversation? So that will help you to keep focused, focus on the conversation and getting away of your mind. Because the problem we all face is under stress. We have our instinctive reaction, fight or flight. We all know that. But how do we manage that? We all are aware of that when we are conscious. I would say, I rephrase this, we consciously know about those inner reactions, those primal reactions, but we are not really aware of them when they are happening in a moment in time, when we are in the conversation, in the difficult conversation. So preparation is key for you to be successful when you knowing you're going to face a difficult conversation, or a conversation that has the potential to lead into a conflict. So you need to be prepared. What I've seen with all my years of experience and with the people I've been working with, even when they're super experienced on what they do, they are seasoned leaders. However, some of them, and they even admitted to me that they fail to prepare enough because, the typical situation. Oh, I have too much on my plate. I don't have time. I have to go. I have back to back meetings, and I just don't have the time. There's a saying from, oh, I always forget, one of the old American presidents, Abraham Lincoln, I believe, who said, "If you failing, if you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. If you fail to prepare, you preparing to fail." And that's true. And when you're thinking you're saving time, well, because you don't have the time to get prepared, you will have to spend time after to clean the mess. Simple like that. So it's important here, again, back to the basics. When facing any meeting, it doesn't even need to be difficult. But even more when you know this conversation might become difficult. Your preparation on first defining what you want to achieve in this conversation. What is the deal you want to make in this conversation at the end of this conversation? What are the takeaway points you want to take away after this conversation? What are the agreements? What is the call to action? All of these you have to have prepared. And then you have to prepare your own material, your own your facts and figures to bring to support your case. And not only yours, but what about the other people? Who are they? What are their concerns? What are their fears? Because that is what will move their actions and behaviors and arguments during this conversation. So, this is what you have to have in mind. It's not only preparing from your side. I have here my material, and then I come to this meeting and I present it like I drop at the table, and then that's it. No, because you know where most people are failing? Because a conversation has to be a dialogue. And everything you do to have successful conversations is to build dialogue. So, to build a dialogue, you need to create this space where you have some common grounds. We say there's a terminology for that called the pool of meaning. You have to have some values, beliefs, principles in common so you can build this conversation. And then if you don't have, because this is why there is a conflict, it's important that you know what are the values, the beliefs of of your counterpart, of the person who is in disagreement with you, because you will need to bring their beliefs to the table. You, not only them, because at the moment you bring their beliefs, their fears, their concerns to the table, they will feel like, oh, Tulia knows me. She knows where I'm coming from. So they will start listening. And then instead of attacking, if they are attacking at the moment, there'll be this moment where they will start thinking, maybe I should listen. Maybe what she's saying is important. Because another thing here, people go to difficult conversations, difficult meetings, challenging meetings, with everything in their head. I'm prepared with all my facts and figures and what I'm going to say, but they forget this, that they have to build this dialogue. It's not a monologue, it's a dialogue. That's the only way you reach an agreement. Into in the dialogue, it's a flow, it's a ping pong. You say something, I say something else, and we meet in between. Or if I don't meet, we don't meet in between, I try to go to your side to understand where you're coming from. So this art of dialogue is crucial to deal with any difficult conversation and to build any healthy conversation. Because I tell you something here, I am raising a flag now for the need of all of us, all of us professionals, all of us parents, all of us friends who appreciate our friends, and all of us in a relationship, that we have to go back to dialogue, to learn how to build this space where we listen to each other. We are not just talking over each other. We are not just making statements, because pretty much of what we do now in our communication, in this environment, in emails, texting, is a monologue. We are losing our capacity for dialogue. And even now, with the phone, we don't even call anybody anymore. We leave audio messages. What is an audio message? Again, a monologue. I say something and leave it there. You take a time to receive it, to listen to it when you want to listen, if you listen, and then you respond. And then I see it and I behave the same way. It is a challenge to be in front of people and build this space for dialogue where I have to respect you, that I have to give you the time to express yourself, that I have to be listening actively. This is why we put ourselves in difficult situations, because we are all talking at the top of each other and we are not listening. We are making statements all the time. And the statements behind a screen, behind a text, we are not really taking stance either for our positioning. It's much easier to write a post full of concepts, and then you're away. You're not there with your face to stand by what you wrote. And then you don't know what's happening when someone challenges you with a question that your first behavior is a reaction. You're not used to be asked. Think about this. We have to go back to dialogues. I'm raising this flag here. It's the only way we will improve our communication. That's the only way we will truly show our colors to others. And it's the only way we will be able to build a bond of trust with people. So people working in companies, organizations have to go to meetings, have to deal with difficult decisions, difficult conversations, but they're not used to a dialogue. They are used to bring all the information, slides, handouts, but not used to throw the information, present your case, and step back and listen, actively analyze, think before responding. Instead of being reactive, be proactive. Too much in the head, in a position of defense, reactive position, instead of being in a proactive position. Not able to ask questions because the mind is too confused, because you're not listening actively. So this is are the aspects that we all have to have in mind if we want really to deal with difficult conversations. And I started this talk today saying that sometimes the resources, the tools you already know, but because you're so much in your head, you get in, because every time we get into the conversation, we have to remember that I have a view of the situation and you have a different view, even if we are in agreement. Because think about, let's make an analogy here. If I put an object between the two of us here, I will see this object in a way, you will see this object in a different way. So that's the way we see the world, all of us. And even you can say, Tulia, but this is a ball, this is a sphere. It's the same. We all see the same. Yes and no, because what is behind the ball for you and what's behind the ball for me is different. So I still have a different perspective than you have. So this, with this mindset, is what you have to come into your meeting, come into that conversation with your colleague that you're having some problems with the deliveries, or come into the conversation of someone that you have to say, you cannot continue in this project, you cannot continue in the company. So it's not only preparing from your side, it's also preparing from the other side's perspective. So you will be able to communicate from their world, from their side, telling them, I understand you. I can see you. I can hear you. I can understand you. Because this is what everybody wants to do, to feel. We all have this intrinsic feeling, need to be seen, heard, and understood. So the only way you get out of your mind, of your voice, your lizard voice, and you come back to your wizard voice is with preparation. Preparation, and have in mind that asking yourself, what exactly do I want from this meeting, from this encounter, from this negotiation, from this difficult conversation? Prepare yourself from your side, but also learn as much as you can from the other person's side, their concerns, their desires, their fears, because that person will, all their arguments will be It will be coming from those fears, from those beliefs, from those values, because the same is for you, but you need to know the other side. And the most important, there's no conversation without dialogue. We have to go back to build dialogues. And you will see me repeating this now over and over and over. And that's all for today. Have a good weekend, and we continue next week. Bye for now.